perfect for you, just so.
Oh.
nasally
Looks
that-
like it's cool.
Here's the
Yeah,
first thing
right.
I'll pass on tonight.
No, please don't. Thank you. Yes.
How we doing?
Mr. Baker.
I'll bring them all in.
Okay.
Mr. Jester, I don't know
Just
if our
from the
Purple
kids?
Heart gentleman is here yet.
I
Oh,
haven't seen it. There's a jacket there that I don't recognize.
That's somebody else's.
There we
That's Bruce's.
Oh, okay.
oh, there he is.
There
There
he
we
is.
are.
He looks like the Purple Heart gentleman. You look like the medal, no kidding.
Hey, Russ. Got the bag that you got. It's good to see you. Good to see you. The bag that you gave me, got it right there. That's the bag stuff that you gave me. First time we got to talk. about this. I figured you did this stuff back at some point. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Can everybody stand for the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Let's go to roll call. Peter Belani,
Here.
Kate. Wow, Kaylee. McDonald.
Here.
Josh Feldman,
I'm here.
Brian Leibel,
Here.
Scott Johnson.
I am here.
I'm drawing a blank.
Marion.
Marianne.
Mary Ann Jason is excused tonight.
Yep.
Mossab
Here.
and Amy Battaglia, I'm here. Motion to approve the roll.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move on to the approval of the agenda. Any questions? I have a motion to approve the agenda. We
need
don't do
motions
that
for-
yet?
No. not
Next
for-
week?
Yeah, next week.
Got it. Minutes of the previous meeting? Questions? Okay. Communications? Does anybody have any?
I do have one, but I will wait till the superintendent's report.
Okay. Anybody else? Alrighty. First open session. As per board policy 1512, we hold 2 open sessions at each meeting. The first session is limited to comments on the agenda items for tonight's meeting. The board welcomes attendance and participation by district residents, persons having business within the boundaries of the school district, and persons who do business with Board of Education. Speakers must be at least 16 years of age and will be limited to 3 minutes. Please preface your comments with your name, address, and group affiliation if appropriate. Non-district residents must include the name of their business or how they do business with the Board of Education. All speakers in this open session must state which agenda item they are speaking on. One. All right, with that being said, unfinished business, but we don't have any. So superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Battaglia. Tonight we have some guests with us and I will just call this up here. Zoom room or Apple? Zoom room?
No, Virgil's Apple TV.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep, there you go. You got us.
We're gonna put a post-it.
Oh, I really am. It's so bad. Okay. So first, we would like to welcome Russ Ward from Purple Heart community here in our area to our meeting and welcome him and really say thankful to him and the group that is here tonight. I know that you have a presentation for the board and we couldn't be more grateful that you're here. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having us here, and it's our pleasure to present a Purple Heart medal plaque that'll be displayed in your, I believe, veterans area. And then along with that, we'll be presenting a flag. And of course, right now, if I could ask Principal Baker to come up, and I'll give you this here proclamation that we've made up. And I have a pen here, if you could sign it to make it official. And I'll send this forward to our national office, and they're gonna put this on our national highway of Purple Heart communities and schools. So then if you sign this here like this, I believe this pen will work, hopefully. Sign this here like that. We'll just take care of that matter. Very good,
There
very
you
good.
go.
And
While Russ is going through this official business, I just want to mention
Thank you very
that
much.
both of Russ's daughters are graduates of Sweet Home. And I did my student teaching here before most of you were born.
How long ago? was
No.
So we'll let Ron hold this plaque here. And we actually had it inscribed with two special students that one here went to the school at one time. And it's Kathleen Sherry and Wilbur Leroy Mung. And the names are inscribed on here in memory of. So then, that'll be something that people can maybe relate to. And, that'll be, as I say, displayed in the veterans area there.
Amy, move over a little bit.
You're worse than my parents.
They're not supposed to say that. I know somebody's taking a picture. If you want to get over here like this.
Yeah, get us all in here.
Principal Baker, if you want to get over here,
Hold on.
Happy to jump in.
I know if we were doing it right
Here,
now.
let's move this out of the way. So it's a better picture. Oop, is there something?
Or
right
we
there?
could just move in front of it.
That's all right.
There's a problem solver.
You guys
Thank
don't get old.
Thank you very much.
But then if I could just read basically what's on the overhead there. In regards to the Purple Heart Medal plaque, we're hoping that many people will see the plaque and perhaps receive the messages that we feel as though that the plaque sends out by reading it. And the thing is, to start with, is for the fact of honor, further impresses students and adults to honor and respect our American way of life that an estimated 1 million American citizens were killed and millions more were wounded in many wars throughout our history to keep us free. And unity, we hope that would just send a message of unity. And when the Purple Heart Medal plaque is viewed on display, it unites students and adults to know all races, religions, ages, genders, national origins, and nationalities fought as one united people to keep America free. Encouragement. We hope that sends a message of encouragement. The Purple Heart Medal plaque offers encouragement to students and adults experiencing problems or hardships to know millions of veterans who were wounded worked their way through the problems until they could continue living full lives. Patriotism. When students and adults see the Purple Heart plaque, they are reminded of how important it is to patronize and respect the many sacrifices that have been made to keep our country strong and free to provide for all citizens to live in peace. And finally, faith. When viewing the Purple Heart Medal plaque, young and old are reminded freedom is not free, and if necessary, all citizens of America will fight together as one America to keep our rights of freedom. We are one America. So then we hope that this will be a good addition to what you're displaying in your hallway out there. And well, I think that's about what we can say. Oh, we have our flag now. Way down at the bottom. So then, I don't know.
We'll open it up.
Yeah, maybe we'll open it up. Okay. There we go. This is our special rendition of a Purple Heart flag. There's actually a bill in Congress right now by Congressman Higgins to actually pass a law that this will be flowing all across the country and all federal buildings. So at whatever point they're going to ever pass that law, it could take quite some time. It's already been 3 years. So. We're still working on it. We know the government. We know all too well. Okay, so we'll just like this. Brad, do you have anything more to add?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for letting us be part of your community and let us enhancing your wall of honor with the Purple Heart decoration. It is the America's oldest military decoration, first established in 1782. And since they started keeping records in World War II, over 1.8 million Purple Hearts have been awarded, many of them posthumously to people who have been killed in action and anyone wounded in combat. So we appreciate you letting us take a few minutes of your time sharing this honor with you. And we hope many of your students have the opportunity to pass by it, look at it, and reflect on its symbolism.
So to end with that, we forgot to make the presentation to Principal Baker. Our pleasure to give that to you. If you fly that there, we'd be very proud, and many of the other Purple Heart recipients will be very appreciative of that. And of course, whoever drives by, they'll see that flying and they'll know that you're a Purple Heart community now.
Thank you.
Purple Heart School.
I appreciate it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. And
You know, and then you want to stay for the meeting.
hey, Beth, come back.
We'll take you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Be well.
Well, you win some.
No, I couldn't make it that night. It was an honor to be here.
Good night. Good night.
Try and send a message in the communities, right? You know?
Yes, yeah, very good. Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no. We won't make you laugh.
I started as a paraprofessional here, which inspired me to complete my degree.
At school.
And then I came back and I
They were in band.
that was in so much for but I subsequently thought.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Real pleasure and honor. And I know John Fowler here is all about
So after that,
to the military academy. Last time I talked.
I knew where I was going when they sent me to UGA. Artillery. No, no, infantry. No, they were doing infantry. A lot of neat dirt.
Great.
I never had a rattlesnake like that. Good. Yeah. At that time it cost Now you figure it could cost you an arm and a leg.
Louisianans will cook anything. They'll cook anything.
Never had to.
No, not there.
They step, they have to step.
I haven't had very many good experiences for a ball.
So after they step.
I've been there for, they have chair to see there.
I think.
I sent it. I think I even sent Mike the wrong article. I said, I just gotta go with it. Call it myself. I just gotta go with it. I said,
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
No problem.
This worked out.
They just named the park.
Yeah.
Bill, I was the only person that got killed in Vietnam. From Maryville, they named it after him.
Lisa.
Found out.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I'm trying to get this park.
Yeah.
They put the flag.
I was telling Russ,
No.
you are a top of
Nick,
just all the work that you're doing.
So you gotta pick your phone up.
Good job.
It worked out.
You
It
just
worked
heard it
out.
over the movies.
It's really special.
That's awesome.
Beautiful country. They did.
That's good.
Not in the woods, though, not in the woods. And one of my buddies, he's back over. And he said this should be like a resort area now.
Playing for you.
Not a hotel.
Wait, I.
There's a place called Candaron Bay right on the,
So you wanted to run track, so you can get.
we couldn't go on there. Night was there. There's women in two-piece bathing suits laying there. You know,
Get my hand.
No, I don't know. I don't get, yeah.
but I would do it
He
again.
runs the show.
It's not in his presentation.
Oh, it's not? Oh, that's.
I'm not having no brains.
He's the one that got just
Oh, okay. I got shot.
Talking about these?
Keep scrolling, let's see if that's
Oh, is that it?
the screen, that's not the big picture.
Yeah, so,
That's fine.
yeah.
I didn't even see the big picture thing. That's fine. Big picture.
Yeah.
I'll stop that PSAT.
My
Yeah.
God.
So that starts you.
Where's the gavel?
Gonna talk about that. That's smart.
Yes.
You're
SAT.
listening to
We
you.
just got some news. That's not me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
But I said the wrong ones, but it's okay. I had pictures of the.
Thank you again. You take care. Good luck.
Yeah, like it's really cool.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Next to the field is where he
Nice.
couldn't get much closer to the school.
Monday, Tuesday next week.
Amy had a good print.
His girls. So oldest
Well,
dog, I
yeah,
think,
you're-
graduated here in front of
you're
me.
the-
all
you're
day.
now the
I'm
interior
here behind
decorator.
you.
In addition to
Martha
being the
Stewart,
principal.
whoever needs
So
it.
you're all good.
It works
You're
out
all
good.
good.
Okay, sounds good. There you go. Take care.
Okay. With that. Very cool, and we're very happy to have Russ and his group here with us tonight. So we'll make sure this gets down in the wall. It's beautiful and in its deserved spot. So very, very nice gesture on their part. So we also have some other special guests with us tonight. Mr. Baker is here. This is part of our, even though we're at our home base for board meetings, this is part of our traveling board show. And since our auditorium was unavailable, we moved it and we kept the meeting here in Virgil's Community Center. And I'm very happy to have Mr. Baker here with us and to give us an update on what's happening at the high school. And I'll let him take it away. Yes.
Slide forward. Well, you can't see that picture, but you know, I'll explain it to you in a moment. But first, I want to just say thank you to Miss LeBrake, who's sitting over here to my right, your left. Can you see her, Miss LeBrake? I know she didn't hear me. But I do want to say thank you to her, because when I talked to Russ about the Purple Heart, and he was explaining all the information to me. We were just trying to get into some details and things of that nature. And I said, there is a military wall And because I'm new, I didn't know that Ms. LeBrake was the person that was over it. So I started asking a bunch of questions and it led me to her. And she just really did. She picked up the mantle. She called up Russ, had some emails with him, and they really set everything up. So if you don't mind, just if you can give her a nice round of applause for the hard work. Quick update on the high school. So I come in here and you see me with my baseball cap on, and you see me with this shirt on. And so what I'll say that everything that I do it for the kids. Can I step out here real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, everything that I do it for our students. So the students will tell you, we have Musab here who I love dearly. I don't wear shirts and ties anymore. Like one day I came to school, and I have an HVAC uniform, and I was walking around and they said, "Oh, he's an auto mechanic." Okay, you know, it's like General Ritter, it's an HVAC, and I teach them certain things. So I'm a walking advertisement. Today was about HBCU schools. One day I had the UB hat on with the UB polo shirt with the sweater on. And then other days I wear Northland Workforce Training Center. I have some Seminelli shirts. I have different things. And what I'm trying to do at our school is to teach kids that there is a place for every single person. So when you see this picture, it's really my group of boys. They were actually cheerleading and they became into the whole routine. And it's unorthodox. That I ran it past Mike and said, "Mike, I'm doing some things that's a little bit more unorthodox." I might have my shirt tie on. He said, "Derek, it's okay, do what you have to do." And what I realized is some of the things I thought I had to have my shirt on, my tie, and walk a certain way and act a certain way, then the kids will respect you and listen to you. I realized that they understand who you are and they really want to see you for who you are as a person. What kind of relationships do you build? Now, I'm really proud to say that at Sweet Home, we're really working on just climate culture. That is our big thing. Yes, we're working on academics, but in that first year, that's what we're trying to make rock hard and solid with our climate and culture. So I sent you the wrong PowerPoint because I was trying to, I was at the little tonight, I was in there cheerleading, and I thought I had to come up to the meeting. You didn't want me to mess up, so I came. So I'm
Okay.
here.
Thank you.
So with that said, I'll give you just a couple of things I wanted to show you because I sent you the wrong PowerPoint.
Okay.
But first of all, thank you. You approved our pool table. My seniors did get a chance to enjoy it. I don't let the pool stuff stay there. So they have to come over to the office. They have to give a cell phone, ear pods. If it's a book bag, it has to have something important in it. And what we do, we swap it out and then we give them a pool table. It is for our seniors really to enjoy it. And they're having a good time while they're in there. We have a foosball table too as well. And it's the least that we can do for them. We do have some bean bags. They want bean bag chairs. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get some. Then I called Musab into my office and said, I don't know where I'm gonna put these chairs at because we don't really have any room for 50 or 60. But I'm really thankful because you allowed that to happen when we got that pool table in because you did approve it. So I'm appreciative. Second thing I want to say is in our AAC, we have an Academic Achievement Center. It's located in our 600 wing. I had a quick picture of it. It's beautiful, but what's more important about it being beautiful is that up to date now, the record is that we have 5,000 students that have been seen in the Academic Achievement Center. If I could clone them and make 2 or 3 separate wings, I would, but that's not the ask today. Today is just for me to tell you, just thank you just for that. In the Academic Achievement Center, when I say 5,000 people, it means that 5,000 different lessons from people who came in there and sat down and said, I need help with English, math, science, and social studies. And if you really go into that room, I couldn't do it justice by speaking about it. If you go into the room now, you will see our teachers' names on the board with their specific subjects. And what those teachers are doing in the AAC is they say, okay, I know that in global studies, they're doing SEQs in US history, they need to know this. And they built those lessons, and I was able to observe one where the teacher had 2 different groups. She had 5-year and 5-year, and she was just teaching them, giving them the background foundational skills of things they will be doing. So I'm just letting you know that with that space over there, they're really using it, and I'm excited. It was a middle area, and I'm not sure what to call it, but it's a middle office area. I'm not sure what to call it. It's the old AAC room. I don't know what it was called back in the days. But we have our E&L students. If you ever visit in the high school, I would challenge you just to stop in. You'll see these chairs and tables, the table slide. I hate sliding chairs for kids, but the tables do slide. And you will see them sitting in a half circle. You will see the teacher teaching. You will see different things from different cultures that's there. If you walk down the middle of our hallway right now, soccer is the sport of choice. And I've learned a lot about soccer because of the FIFA World Cup. So I know everything that the kids know, but the reason why I know it is because I am well studied and you can read in between the lines what that means. So cheer for your favorite team, and that's a part of it. So I'm gonna talk about just 3 things about our climate and culture. So if you don't mind, hit the slide and I'll be out your way in a moment. The first one is going to be Gaggle. I'm very thankful for Gaggle. As it says, it's a real-time student safety system, and it monitors our children actually on their iPads. But here's the big thing that is more important. It helps us with the social emotional piece. We're able to find out when there's a student who's hurting, who needs some assistance, who needs some help, who's going through some family troubles. They may write something down right on the side of their iPad. They may think that's for them, but you'll be surprised when we sit down and we pull up next to them and we have a conversation with them and ask them how they're doing, or we get Dr. Lucci in because she's our crisis counselor, and other people actually get involved. And I'm very thankful. So I won't give all of the things because I have my own students sitting in this room, but I'm so thankful for what it has done to us because it helped us cover a big, major safety piece. So I'll move on to the next one. SmartPass. SmartPass is what we have coming up. SmartPass is going to change the way students maneuver around our building. Currently, we got all our teachers, they have been trained, they went through professional development, taught how to do it. Make a long story short, how SmartPass works, if a student has to use the restroom, they would hit the button saying that they have to use the restroom. It hits the button. They will pick which bathroom they're going to. So if you're in the 100th wing and a student picks the 700, you just nicely say no on your computer and that student cannot go anywhere. So what it does for us is it shows us where every student is traveling at in the school. If you're in the hallway, you're in the hallway for a purpose. It lets all of our hall monitors know where you're at. If you're like me and want to have a lot of fun and me and Mike like to hang out and have a great time, Mr. Genestri, in the bathroom during the second period. Well, Mr. Baker might not want that to happen. So I'll say, Derek and Mike cannot be out the room at the same time. And what that does, it helps us to now focus on more educational time and help kids to really stay inside their classrooms. Our students will be getting some training. They're like looking at me like, oh my goodness. But our students will be getting taught how to do it coming up next week. I believe it's the 22nd. We're going to do it periods 1, 2, 3, and 4, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade to let them know how to do it. They'll pick up on it faster than the teachers will, which is really funny because they're really good with technology. And we already ran some demos. And some of the kids, they really do like it because they can hit a button, teacher hits it, and they're gone about their business, and then it times them. So I'll be gone for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, you're not there, kind of gives you a little warning, and then they'll cut down on your passes. So the students will get all that information as well, but that's something that I'm proud about because it's going to the climate and culture of our school, because as we're building all these fun things to do, the reality is that we want them to get a valuable education. That's what we're working towards. So that segues into the last thing that I'm about to say. I don't have all the information, but I took a couple of snippets. For me, I'm not sure when the last time that our high school did this, but this year, we found out that only a remnant, I call it a remnant, or a few students took the PSAT at our school. I talked to Mrs. Wilson, some other people, Mr. Critelli, talked to Mr. Harriger, and we all kind of sat down and ironed some things out. Talked to the teachers, and the BOT committee said, let's do it. And what we did at that point in time, we had 217 juniors, and we said, every single one of you are going to take the PSAT. It did not sit well. I had them all in the gymnasium, and I said, who want to go to college? And they waved their hands, and we were having a good time in the gym at first. Then I said, everybody's going to take the PSAT, and they booed me inside the gymnasium. I'm dead serious. They really did boo me. And then we had what we call a moment. I stopped for a second and I explained to them how much I care about them and the reason why we're going to do it. I know it's tough during COVID. They haven't set for anything long to do it. And I said, you're going to take it whether you like it or not. And the kids were like, I'm not taking it. And we just laughed and chuckled. But when that day did come up, those students actually took that test. They sat in those rooms and they worked really hard. And it just takes so much endurance to sit here for a test when you're not so used to doing that from before. So as a little snippet of it, the evidence-based reading and writing, I looked at it real quick. Our benchmark of those who met the goal was at 46%. 9% they're approaching to hit that benchmark. So we're a little stronger currently right now. It looks like where our students came in in the writing and reading area. From the math, we're at 24%. And then with students who got both. So right now, we're a little unevenly balanced. We have more students that did well in the reading and writing than they did on the math. 22% of those students were able to do both. So I'll just give you that as a tidbit of information. I really got to dive more into the data. I'll be talking with Ms. Wilson, who will really be spearheading it with me. She helps me out a lot, and I'm appreciative of somebody who has that knowledge and that background to be able to piece through the data just to help me out so that our school can be better. So that's our highlight as it relates to our high school. Before I call these lovely young people up, do you have any questions that you would like for me to answer?
I just have one.
Yes.
With the Smart Pass, should you find that there's trouble and nobody's around, can you figure out who was in the vicinity based on Smart Pass?
Yes, you can. But we already figured that one out right now because at Sweet Home, we have top facilities of great
course.
cameras and everything else. So it'll be a little faster this way, but we've been doing really a good job of finding everything that goes around the school.
Just, it's gonna be you're gone 3 minutes, now you're gone 5 minutes, I'm gonna track you down, but also, you got in a little bit of trouble in the bathroom with Mike over here. I'm gonna track you down because I can find it. So I just was curious,
That has been a good thing. That will be a good thing. We're gonna run it and start it in January. It has a side note, and I will say this as a side note, because we had a couple of people that we're a school and we're a high school, so they did vapes. And when we first sat down as an administrative staff, what is the goal? Is that we ask one another, what is our goal of helping our students? Yeah, I can suspend you for having a vape and we can get rid of you and we can do this and hopefully you come back and you'll be scared or fearful not to do it again. But what we did, we found a presentation from Stanford that was online. A kid goes in, they put the email into it. It goes through, it takes about one kid took 4.5, 5 hours, but it takes about 3 to 4 hours or a half a day. It goes into all the information about vapes and vape awareness. It gives you a test too as well. And what we have known thus far, and maybe we haven't caught people, but we have known thus far that any student that has vaped and got caught, that went through that series of tests, they don't even know this themselves. But the ones that have done that, they haven't done it a second time. And so it's been very informative of helping us out. It tells you the poisonous things that are inside of the actual high pen, let alone the nicotine in there.
Yep.
So just having that awareness is, something that helped us out too as well. So
and that's more my thought process is,
that's
How
my
do-
role right down.
how do
your
we
alley.
curb the issues that,
But thank you. Yes.
thank you.
So that ends my presentation. Any other questions before? All right, now, I wouldn't be able to do it justice to introduce this lovely team. And I have a person who speaks much better than I do. I'm gonna call Ms. Manzel up and a beautiful drill team is gonna come forward. They're gonna knock this out of the park. And I chose them because of the fact that it's another thing that helps us in our school, that helps our students become a part of the school community. We practiced and had their auditions. When did you have your auditions? Was it after school? We had our auditions during school. And we explained to them that there's a criteria. You gotta have your work done. You gotta do this, you have to do that. So we expect you to keep up with it. But I really want to champion them because a lot of people don't see our drill team. I'm not sure how long it's been in existence because I only seen it last year. I believe I seen it once. And then I seen them this year. And what I'm trying to do is hopefully get them some push and some oomph so the team actually grows. And then Ms. Manzel has a ton of more students to work with. She's like, leave that alone.
Couple more people I can manage. Hi, guys, I'm Becky Mansell. I was here with the Ready Group a month ago. Is that what it was, Tom?
Yes.
A month ago. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to do this. We practice actually in here in Virgil's. We practice once a week. And we practice for 3 hours once a week because sadly there are no late buses. There isn't time that I can stay 3 different days. And we all know that practicing individual days is easier, but we decided that one day. And Mr. Baker was kind enough to give us an in-school field trip in early October, late September, is that when it was? And the kids, their grades were all passing. So we got them out of classes. They did an in-school field trip. They came here in the morning. They learned the drills. We all ate lunch together, and then in the afternoon they tried out. By 8th period, they all left. 2 of the ones who were returning from last year, who are my captains, they stayed, and we selected a team. I also have a returning girl who was on the team last year, who is present at all of our practices each week when we're practicing. So that's pretty cool. She's going to ECC now, and she comes back just for our practices to be here with us. So our first actual performance was supposed to be at the Chef basketball game, and then, Mother Nature decided to dump 7 feet on my house. Y'all had a good time up here, but I just shoveled for 4 days. And then I got a message saying, "Can you come back?" And I'm like, "No, not yet. Still digging." So we've never performed in front of anybody yet until tonight. So it's their first time. So there are some jitters going on. Tomorrow night, we are performing in front of the girls' basketball game at the varsity halftime of the girls' varsity game. So we chose a girls' game first because there is less of a crowd for our first time on the floor. And then Mr. Baker said, "Would you come?" And of course, you don't say no to the principal. I try, but I don't. So what we're gonna do is there's 5 of the 8 people on the team right now. Some could not make it with a little bit of short notice, plus 2 nights in a row of a responsibility for the team. So thank you for putting the thing up for now. And do you have the remote for that we could just hit it to make it a black screen?
We have a remote. We have a.
Yeah, we do.
The bottom, I will tell you, the bottom left button on it, it just says blank and it'll make it black. So it's not shining in
We
their eyes.
have a fancy.
Stick.
State of the art.
Okay.
But we don't have a remote.
There's no
You'll see.
remote.
Yeah.
It's not a fancy remote?
So we don't have one.
Does it say remote?
You had to spend 56,000 for the
There is
remote.
a remote.
Okay,
blown away.
Oh, no.
tonight-
We're kind of been hiding that.
Yeah, right?
I think we finally put batteries in it.
Okay, tonight for you, we have sophomores, juniors, and seniors performing for you. We do not have any freshmen because our freshmen are involved in about 80 other things, and then one is also sick. So we have just a smattering of different grade levels for you, and they're just gonna do a couple drills similar to what they're gonna do tomorrow night for you. Okay. Yes. Better. No, you're not loud. Okay. guys. Guys, you did great. They're out the door. They're already in the car. Mark's a senior this year. Megan Mullen is a sophomore, or sophomore. Maya Kelly is a sophomore. Dad? Say your last name. Kirishiro is a senior this year. Brave Man is a junior. Well, historical piece. The drill team has been in existence. We used to have the old-fashioned drill team with the guns and the marching thing. Way back when. If you remember Linda Caulfield, she shared a lot of pictures with me. She was an employee here at the district for 40 some odd years, longer than I was alive at one point in time. And Linda shared with me pictures that she was on the original drill team with the guns. I do know, and I've looked into the history, that in 1983 we had a drill team of this nature. So we kind of did a culture shift a little bit into this side. And there were times that we didn't have one for a few years, and we had times that it was called a step team. And when there was a step team, it also didn't have sometimes one specific adult liaison for it. And one of the benefits that we have is because we're a suburban school with more of an urban population, it's super fun to have that. And 12 years ago, because of COVID, 12 years ago, I started Multicultural Night because I wanted to start to show what we've got going on in the suburbs to everybody else. So Multicultural Night was started because it's a variety show for the community, for even our community, and it's always been run at the middle school. The drill team runs it, and any funds from it fund the drill team. So we're a club, we're not considered, it might say team on our shirts, but we're a club. So we're just like an extracurricular club, like the games club or whatever else. So any money we have, we've earned through our own show. Multicultural Night has students from Middle Eastern descent doing cultural dances. We've had students play instruments from their own heritage cultures. We've had students sing native songs from their homelands in their own tongue. It's so cool to watch. And then we've had kids just go out and hip hop dance. We've had kids do pen tapping. And the kid that pen taps in class all day long, I'm like, wait, come here, this, and did it on stage for like 3 years. And now she's actually a really popular barber and online. So we've done it and mixed it up. We're gonna do it again this year. We're coming back. Multicultural Night's coming back. It's gonna be held in middle school on March 2nd. So if you want to put that in your book, March 2nd is the date it's gonna be held in middle school. It's Thursday night. And we're gonna come back and have the kids participate in it. I'm excited for that, but this is what the money that we raise goes to. The shirts are assigned to them throughout the season, and then they get back. It's a full year commitment. But they sign up and they do participate in other things. All right, what else are you in? Cheer and musical. Maya, are you doing track right now? Outdoor track you'll do, and you're doing track right now too, right? And then Reagan does a bunch of stuff outside of school that she does volleyball and other stuff. And then Raiden is also in, Raiden and Maya are both in music stuff, and they're both also included in going to BOCES and getting a technical enrollment. So it's a great mix of kids, which is what I try to more than anything. Well, do you guys have any questions for us?
I just have to look up what pen tapping is. I mean, I think I know what pen tapping is, but I gotta look up what pen
You might
tapping
not know
is.
the same level of pen
That's what I'm
tapping.
thinking.
Yeah, the cool part was, so she would sit in class and do it all the time, and she would have a beat behind it. And it was really fun. And then I always drink out of a glass bottle. And one of her performances, actually, we set the microphone up, or I held the microphone for her. And she was actually pen tapping on the table, and then she started incorporating the bottle into it. It was so, she had 2 pens. Amazing. Then she brought her big brother back, who's also a graduate of Sweet Home. And London came back and did it with her, and they were almost having like a pen tap off. on the stage. And he shook his head at one point, I was like, I give up.
That's cool.
It's super cool. So we incorporate and we try to get all the kids with their different backgrounds to come be part of it, because that's one of the treasures of Sweet Home, is that it really is the world comes to Sweet Home. We figure out that there are 39 different languages that kids are woken up to in the morning. Hey, get out of bed, you gotta go to school. 39 different languages. Pretty amazing. So pretty proud of that, so. Health cultural night, March 2nd.
I
just wanna say- oh.
Sorry, you guys should be really confident going into tomorrow night's game. You guys are gonna do great. You pulled it off seamlessly. It was amazing. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job. I wanted to mention that when my high school, there was a drill team. When I was a freshman, about 10 students in the drill team. 4 years later, they had 30 students. It really took hold. And the reason I'm remember the drill team so well is because they practiced in the basement in front of my locker. And I would be coming from math club and they would surround me to get to my locker and do the drill. And I was in the middle of their drill every, at least once a week. So, but it was a great, having them. And I think you guys will do a great job and bring a lot of spirit to the school. So it's really nice to see you bringing this to the
And
school.
there's an interesting piece with having larger numbers, because the larger the number, the more people have to know all the different rules. You do dances too, but I totally learn a lot. Because at some point I gotta learn something in the game. But there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. The more people you have, that much more complicated to make a select group. But I will say this, 3 people performed together, came from last year's team. I is one of them, other girls still no longer on the team right now. And they performed 3 people in front of over 1,000 people. Powerful that rally, and it was amazing, and they were amazing, and that strength of self and that self-esteem to walk out there and do it was phenomenal to watch. Wasn't a person in the building who was like, yeah, they're easy, it was easy. Everybody goes, holy crap. Yeah, holy crap. So we also have one other thing I want to put a plug in for us. We have International Night is also going to be the first week. So Multicultural Night is the Friday show. It's the 2nd of March. The next week is Foreign Language Week. I'm also a Spanish teacher, so Foreign Language Week is the next week. At Sweet Home, we try to get all the languages. World language, we're all involved in it. And that next week, with the student government, we're going to do some other things throughout that week. But one of the evenings, we're going to have International Night, which is like a taste of sweet. We're going to bring some of our favorite dishes in, and then you get a chance to try just a little bit of each food and do that. And that's an interesting evening because we show up at it. We drill a little bit like this, and then we say, hey, you want to get up and learn some stuff? And we have kids come up and stand with us and learn just left face, right face, about face, and maybe do a little bit of a drill. Some teachers do it too, and it's kind of funny. That will also be that. I'll be back in everybody. I'll talk. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You don't have to run. But I'm gonna run too. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Later.
So, speaking of multicultural and language nights and everything we have going on, we are very excited to announce, and I know Ms. Wilson has more details, that through our Title I grant, we requested over the summer when we wrote the grant for in supporting community and family engagement, that our ELL population, as you know, is growing, and our biggest ELL population is our Arabic-speaking families. And so we're excited to announce that our grant request was approved through Title I. And I don't know, Ms. Wilson, if you want to talk about it, our Arabic-speaking family liaison.
Yes, we're very excited about this position. We're looking at this position being someone who will support all families, specifically our Arabic-speaking community. 43% of our students who are multilingual learners are Arabic speaking. And so we felt like it was necessary to make sure that we had that support in place. That support will flow through the summer, through home visits and supporting transitions for students who are transitioning to us over the summer, which we know that's a big transition point for us. This person will also continue to make connections through the placement, the Student Placement Center, as well as that cultural connection and helping to build trust. Knowing the culture and helping families make a smooth transition to Sweet Home is something that we know is very important to many families. And so the biggest transition happens mostly at the secondary school. We have a number of students who join us in elementary school, and when they do, our students are very successful. They transition through the process of all of the testing that comes along with the supports that are provided to multilingual learners, and they test out and they go on to be what we call former ELLs. And the support then looks like it's very heavy at the high school, because when students transition to us at 7th grade or at 9th grade, they have a shorter time with us. And so this person will be located at the high school, but will support the entire district. We see this person as a huge connection to families as they come in. Questions about?
Any questions? Thank you. We're also excited to bring back to you then, and thank you for your support. Ms. Wilson, John Pilato, our assistant principal at the high school, and Steve Shepard, our teacher on special assignment over at our Ready Academy, attended the Big Picture National Conference last week in San Diego. And it was a fantastic conference to talk on a national perspective of what they're doing with big picture learning. I learned a lot more about the philosophies of big picture and the mission and vision of the programs. And I know, at Ready, we're putting our spin on it, but there's a lot of the philosophies that Ready that they've already adopted through big picture, whether it be advisory or the internship program. We got to go to a school to see big picture in action, where it was all student-led sessions, which was really fascinating to see as well. And so we know our program is doing a lot of this great work already. And I know from district office point of view, it was great to go and learn and what other schools are doing when it comes to big picture, and talk to all the bigwigs of the big picture program. So it was great, and just really thankful for the board support and learning more about big picture and bringing that back. And I know, Steve is just, he could not be more in. I don't know, Sheila, if you want to say anything, but it was just a great few days over in San Diego, and we got to learn a lot. So
I just want to thank board, because I can say that this is our 5th year at Dexter Terrace, the 6th year that Ready Academy has existed. And I can tell you, in the first year we were at Dexter Terrace, when we spent time, a group of teachers, putting together ideas of what we had, in a million years, I would never have guessed that people at district office, or let's start with, we attended Big Bang last summer, but I also never thought people from district office would attend the national conference and be able to speak to what big picture is, and be able to share about it and have conversation about it. And it is amazing to be with other people who are big picture people and hear about how everyone does it differently, but there are a lot of the same threads that go throughout. And so we are extremely grateful for the support of the fact that you guys, so thank you.
thank you. Questions? No. We also wanted to update the board on where we are with our strategic plan. So Ms. Wilson, you're on again.
The excitement continues. We have our second meeting actually tomorrow. We have 14 folks that on the adult side, 4 of which are administrators, 5 teachers, and 5 parents. And then we have 5 students, 1 from Ready and 4 from the high school through our student government program. And so we have quite the range of folks who will be digging into our topics for the next meeting. So this meeting will be focused in, we always anchor in on our mission and vision. We're gonna dig into the portrait of a Sweet Home graduate, those attributes. We talked about that briefly in one of our presentations earlier, and this committee is gonna really unpack that work and what are the attributes we wanna see in a Sweet Home graduate as they transition off into the world and they graduate from Sweet Home. We're gonna dig into the existing state in our desired state using the thought exchange data. So we're going to spend a lot of time unpacking that data tomorrow, and then hear from the committee. What are the other data points they really want to dig into to continue this work? We have focus groups that are also in full swing. So we're going deeper. The focus group is the opportunity to take a smaller group of folks and take some of that information from Thought Exchange and go deeper. So we had a middle school and a high school focus group last week. Tomorrow, running at about the same time as the teaching and learning subcommittee, we have a parent group that will run. We have administrators next week, along with teachers and the 4 elementary schools. So by the end of next week, we will have had all of those focus groups, so that will be a part of our next meeting, the 3rd meeting. So as we unpack what we're doing with the strategic plan, we started off with the rationale, why have this committee, establish norms, establish the purpose. We're at the point where we are reviewing the committee feedback or the data feedback from Thought Exchange and from some of the focus groups that will flow into the next meeting. We're going to be developing our big focus areas in our next meeting, and then we have 3 meetings where we'll be really going deep into goals, how we're measuring those goals, how we're monitoring. And that takes us right into May, where we'll be looking at a draft plan. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we had an amazing first meeting. We had a great, we had that meeting the day before the big storm. So of course, everybody else was at Wegmans, but they were there, braving the opportunity to go to Wegmans. They were there and really digging into this work. And we had some really great feedback from the first session. So we're looking forward to another great meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we also have our second meeting of our Building Use Committee. And we're going to focus tomorrow's meeting on transportation. We've talked about a few ideas in our first meeting revolving around everything from staggered start times to walking radius, things like that. And Scott Kennedy is going to be there to present some data to the team, and then kind of talk about what his ideas might be, or what the impact of those ideas might have on our transportation shortage, our driver shortage, to address that first. We also need to start talking about UPK in the next evolution of our plan. I know the board support to implement full day pre-K here and bring it to Sweet Home has been hugely successful. We want to continue with that momentum and try and talk to our principals in cabinet this week, but also talk to the Building Use Committee about the impact of bringing more sections to Sweet Home and if that's even possible based on our spacing issues. So a lot of work to go with this committee, but our 2 main focus areas tomorrow night will be transportation and UPK. And I should also report that our first early, probably February, we'd like to come to the board and make a report on our recommendations, findings, or just report out on the work that we've been doing in that committee. I also wanted to put in concert season here at Sweet Home. I put it out to families this week, but it's December and there's a lot of great things going on in our music department. And so just wanted to put it on the record. All of our families got in the Friday memo, got the schedule of events for December. And so if anybody's listening online tonight, we'd love to have you on campus and witness the great work of our students in the music department. Also happy to report that driver education through the New York State Education Department has been approved at Sweet Home. 16 students 16 years and older with a driver's permit are eligible, and classes will start at Sweet Home at or around the February break. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I did have some communication.
Okay.
Questions asked me about the driver ed and eligibility.
Yep.
I know we said Sweet Home students. The question was, is that a Sweet Home resident who is a non-Sweet Home high school student? Would they get priority registration as well, such as a Catholic school, or if they attended an out-of-program school like a BOCES school or something like that? Or is it actually physical Sweet Home high school students?
So our students would get, our Sweet Homes registered students would get priority over that. And then if there are open seats, I would go through a waiting list, first come, first served basis.
So that's traditionally how we've done it before. We last did driver ed pre-pandemic, so it was 2019. The slots would go Sweet Home High School students, Sweet Home District residents, out of district. So I have, just to kind of piggyback off of the slide up there, you approved last month, the vendor is AAA of Western New York. So I have a proposed class schedule to AAA that we would start probably the first week of February, the first full week of February, and be done shortly around or just after the April break. It would run Monday and Wednesdays after school. Peter, to your point, Mr. Blondie, to your point, rather, we have to see how many cars we actually get from AAA. So based upon that, I'm hopeful that we'll get 5 cars, which means that we'll have 20 slots in each session, total of 40 kids. I believe it's going to be around $500 in cost, which is less than you would pay for individual driving lessons. With driver education, students that pass driver education and earn their certificate of completion can drive after 9 o'clock at the age of 17, as opposed to waiting till the age of 18 without.
And is there still, way back when I did it, it also helped with insurance premiums for?
Yeah, there is a slight insurance reduction. It depends on your age, on your insurance company. It's generally in the 5 to 10% range.
Any other questions, driver ed? So I also issued this week and let families know, just a quick heads up that on December 5th, the New York State Health Department, New York State Education Department released a joint letter around cold and flu season. There's been a lot of reports in the media about the impact of flu and RSV, and some COVID as well. So they included some precautions in there, and they didn't mention masks, but that's not something that any district or we are considering. Obviously, our numbers have been steady as far as attendance rates go, and not out of the norm for this time of year pre-COVID numbers. So we're very happy with where we are with our health and well-being in terms of attendance, and we want to keep the course of stay the course of what we've been doing with normal things, washing hands, not coughing or sneezing, and especially staying home if you're not feeling well. But this is the first time I think I've mentioned COVID in months, and it's only because this letter came out, really. That's all. And I just wanted to make sure, because it was in the media, and I wanted to make sure that our families knew that we were on top of it. And that's all I have for tonight. If there's any other questions.
Okay, no questions.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, let's see. We have some upcoming events, some PTA meetings, some district office stuff. Lots of music. And great. New business, special ed placements, classroom placements and preschool placements. I assume that goes to Mary Ann still?
Yeah, it goes to me too. I actually had the time to read it this time.
That's you.
And I had no questions about it. It all made sense.
Perfect.
It's the first time in a while.
Financial reports will come out later this week or early next week. Revised policies, looks like we have 6 policies we're doing the first reading on. High school course planning guide. Any questions on any of this?
The high school course planning guide, we've talked about this in the past. Do you know if there was any changes?
No changes, no additions, no subtractions, same.
Okay, the reason I ask is several years back, they tried to sneak some changes in and that had people up in arms and it was a nasty surprise for us.
When, and we were definitely reminded of that when we put that
That's
on the
good.
agenda. So we double checked and made sure that, that there are no changes. And of course, if there are or were, we would report it out. So,
Okay, thanks.
absolutely.
And then we have an overnight field trip request. Anybody have any questions on anything? Right, informational items. Musab, you can go first.
Okay, thank you. So, these past couple of weeks, our committees have been going into full swing. We've been kind of like breaking off into committees, and each committee has been working separately on their specific goals. Our chairs have been doing a really great job of holding committee meetings and getting people together and keeping us updated on what's going on. So just going down the list, the Academics and Student Life Committee, they're working on a couple of different exciting projects. So they held a kindness campaign right before Thanksgiving where they, one of our chairs, Fatima Hassan, she bought a bunch of Sour Patch Kids packets and she attached little notes to them saying Happy Thanksgiving, and we taped them together and we handed it out throughout the school day right before the break. And so that's just in addition to what we did last year where we handed out lollipops and stuff like that. And it's really just like brightening the atmosphere at the high school before a break. And some things to look forward to from the committee is a bake sale. They're working with Mr. Baker on that bake sale and kind of getting that set up. And we're trying to bring back the peer tutoring club that we had last year, where we were working in conjunction with the NHS and the AAC, trying to get students to help other students in their classes and things of that nature. The athletics committee has met with the new AD, and we're talking about getting a winter pep rally and trying to get that in the works. Probably not before break, but hopefully soon after. And we're trying to think about painting the Panther Pit, trying to get that to be more Panther-like and trying to really separate the student section from the rest of the pit to make a really special feel to it. The Environmental Action Committee and the Food and Nutrition Committee are working together currently to schedule a meeting with Central Kitchen and schedule a meeting with Ms. Sajak, kind of revisit what we did last year in our meeting and also talk about what we want to see this year. We have a couple of items that we didn't quite get to accomplish last year that we want to accomplish this year, such as bringing back recycling bins and kind of establishing where we are on halal food and just really making sure that everyone is on the same page. And so we're trying to get back in Central Kitchen. The Environmental Action Committee is also beginning planning for Earth Day. And I know that's a long time away, but last year we had a small celebration. We want to make it a lot bigger this year. So we're trying to, really hone in on what we want to do and set our goals early so that we have enough time to plan and execute. And the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee hosted the World Cup Spirit Week, which is currently going on at the high school this week. And yesterday was Black and White Day, and today is FIFA Day, and you get to choose your team and dress up in that color. And so that's happening right now. And that's there's like soccer balloons hung up around the hallways, and it's just a really fun time because the World Cup is the finals are this weekend, so that's definitely exciting. And then next week, so that our high school students don't miss out on a Winter Spirit Week as well, the Yearbook Club is hosting the Holiday Spirit Week with various holiday themed activities and stuff like that. The Music and Arts Committee is working with the Athletics Committee to try to figure out how to paint the Panther Pit to make it more student exclusive. And they're also working on organizing live music in the halls for the upcoming holidays, trying to get caroling back, which was something that happened before COVID. And so trying to bring that back, and they're working with the music department to see how that would fit into schedules and, when we can do it and how that would work. They're also working on getting recommendations for the music playlist in the morning. Cause I remember, I don't remember if that was pre-COVID or during when we came back, but teachers would give recommendations on like songs and like genres, and there would be music playing from that. So we're working on trying to see if we can bring that back, the recommendations, and try to also incorporate students to it. Obviously, it would be school appropriate music, but just try to accommodate everyone's music tastes. The Student Safety Committee has been working on with Mrs. Bayless on various different things. We met with Mrs. Bayless a couple of weeks back, and we talked about safety at the district level as well as at the high school level. And some of the things that we were talking about is for students, for high school students themselves, we were trying to rebrand what safety means, because I mean, safety obviously includes like physical safety, but we're also thinking about like mental safety and just having students want to be at school and be at the places they need to be at the right times and on time. So one of the ideas we came up with was positively incentivizing good behavior. And so our idea, which is not in place yet, but because it's still being worked on, but our idea was that every time a student would be in class on time, they would get like a tally next to their name. And after they earn a certain amount of tallies, they would be able to cash it in for like a candy bar or something of that nature. And it would basically just be like a way to reward students for being in class on time, and like hopefully encourage more punctuality and things of that like. And that is what's going on with student government. And going back to the concert season, the concert chorale had their concert with Buff State last Thursday. That went really well. And we also have our concert on December 19th next week, which is at Amherst Baptist Church. And so that's exciting. And like Mr. Baker said, we got the pool table in the senior lounge. So thank you very much for that. It's definitely fun because, you know, we wanted a senior lounge and we appreciate you guys helping us get as much as we can. So thank you.
Very good. Anything else? All right, Mr. Belani.
Sure. Glendale had their PTA meeting last night. It was basically to set up for their Merry Moose, which was going on this week. They did have a roller skating party last week that went very well. That's about it. Just wanted to congratulate all of our Sweet Home student athletes who earned all ECIC, Western New York, all state, and especially our Scholastic Athlete Award winners. So congratulations to them.
Thank you. Kaylee?
I think that the things that I had to attend were canceled during our huge, massive snowstorm. So the legislative breakfast has been rescheduled for January 20 something. It's in my schedule. But I'll be there whenever it is. The high school PTSA does not meet in December, so I will follow up with them in January after the holidays.
Wonderful. Mr. Feldman?
The only thing I have to report on is Chef. So they just did their fall round of mini grants and it was quite successful. There was a big applicant pool. And from what I understand, I'm not part of the committee that reviews them, but they were very strong candidates. And there were some tough choices that had to be made. Of course, it's on the schedule that the faculty basketball game has been rescheduled for January 6th. And then a little out of order because it's not informational item, but I meant to say it during the superintendent's report. Kudos to the central office for that Arabic speaking liaison. Just as a board member, first of all, it's a great program, but it's always refreshing when I see the central office staff looking for additional resources outside of the budget. You know, there's so much out there. So when you're able to tap into it and bring additional, no cost, essentially resources to students, it's awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Leibel?
A couple of things. One is attended the chorus for Maplemere and Willow Ridge at the middle school on December 6th. So the school department brought that together from both schools, and so they were able to work together on some of the songs, which was really neat, from two different grade schools. You know, one side would do one part of the song and another side would do another part of the song, and they had 3 songs altogether. Somehow 3 songs took an hour, but but when you're getting you know, a few dozen grade school students on the risers and their parents and grandparents there. That takes a little bit of time. Also attended the policy committee meeting last week, and we had those on the informational agenda. Probably the most noteworthy one of those is the change I felt was the policy where there's no longer the board can designate extraordinary circumstances where it would permit the board member to participate remotely without having the location open to the public. So that's a change that I think, can benefit us if there is a need to work, be part of the meeting remotely. Also attended parent-teacher conference. I wanted to mention at the conference, at Willow Ridge, I ran into a handful of teachers, not only my kids, teachers, and I will say they were consistently appreciative of the smaller classrooms and the additional resources. The reading specialist and they felt that it has really made a big difference, and the ability to spend the one-on-one time with the students and that. So I just wanted to mention that was brought up to me specifically. And then teaching and learning committee tomorrow. So I look forward to that, and a few other items, but I'll save those for next week.
Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Couple things. I went to the ECASB speed boarding thing a couple weeks ago, and it's in my other notebook, so I can't tell you the details. I'll bring that next week. Also with Brian to the policy committee meeting, and the one you brought up was one that I had the biggest concern on. I know part of it, we're going to need to hold a public meeting or a public hearing to do. And we talked about doing that with the reorganization meeting in July, just to make the details work out, to make it, to be able to do it. We have 30 policies altogether that came out of the audit that we need to deal with over the course of the year. And I attended the safety committee meeting today. We've added 2 student members. One of them is the chair of their student safety committee, Hunter Triluk, is that? I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember his last name. And I'm sorry, I do not remember the lady's name.
Erica Chan.
Thank you. It's good to hear that we've got 2 of those. Mass notification systems were talked about there. You completed it at Dexter. Willow Ridge is coming up. I'm sorry, that's done. Heritage is in progress. The rest of them should be done before the end of the summer. And we actually talked about Gaggle a little bit here, which Mr. Baker talked about. And I'll skip over the rest of it. Okay, that's it for me.
Can I just add real quick? I forgot, I actually did attend the legislative meeting. That was the night that everything was shutting down. It was on Zoom. So it was a fairly brief meeting. And really all I want to say is that the ECASB takes a stand, which lists all of ECASB's which legislative actions they're in support of, which was a collection from member feedback from all the districts, is on their website. That's up and running, if anybody is concerned. And we have our postcards, and we should send them as soon as there are bills that we should be supporting, but I don't believe there were any as of that meeting.
They're working on starting pre-filing some of their stuff for the next legislative session right now.
Okay. For me, middle school PTSA doesn't meet in December, so I will report on that next month. The only meeting I have is tomorrow for the transportation building use committee. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So moving on to open session. Okay.
It saved her a lot of reading.
Thank you. And then, there's a bunch of different personnel items, teaching and administrative, service, and such. Can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for matters of personnel and negotiations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.